have been friends for 20 years, since college. We played in a band for a while, and he got me into electronic music. We learned to produce together. After college, we stayed friends, but stopped collaborating on music. In the summer of 2018, we started a new project, and after some initial experimentation, Mark pitched a concept to help give the project some direction.
Okay.
So I have this crazy idea. Cave World is a metaphor for your basement and the world of our collaboration. It's a creative space set apart from the real world.
There are a bunch of creatures living in Cave World with their own distinct personality.
All the Cave World creatures have their own sounds.
I loved it, and we've been developing Cave World for the past 6 months, writing songs and experimenting with different sounds. As we're finishing up our first EP, we decided to record some thoughts on the project. I think one of the things that's, when you first came up with the Cave World concept, that was cool, was that like it's so flexible. There's like so many different things you can, it's like modular. You can like build all these different things on it. You could do like stories and images and videos and songs and narratives. There's like so many different ways to sort of thread it together.
What's Cave World?
What is Cave World?
I mean, it's like an opportunity to not just like, write songs and not have to write about, even think about our lives. It's like a full escape into a different world, It's so every song we're basically, when I'm starting writing a song, once we have like a basic musical idea, I think about where it takes me, and then basically create a fictional species within a cave, and imagine what it's sort of feeling and what's going on with that species, and what would a character's reaction
maybe be in that set of circumstances, and then I can like write the whole song from that perspective, and it shapes it and gives it direction and emotion.
Well, you've always been writing songs in different styles, and you've done like a lot of different projects, music projects.
Yeah, and it's funny, like in a way,
like writing songs is always that. Like people think it's very autobiographical, but often it's you're like picking some protagonist in the real world and kind of like putting yourself in their shoes, and like there's some interesting emotion or whatever that you like can relate to, and you expound on it in the song, and it's like less about you and more about this quasi you protagonist that you're creating, right? Yeah. So it's cool because this is like a much more extreme version of that, where we're like not just
creating a protagonist for sort of emotional ideas to pull from, but like
creating the world around the protagonist that's like
not just the lyrics and the words, but based on the textures of the music of like what are these things? What do they look like? Are they big? Are they
small? Are they
tough? Are they
predators? Are they
prey? Are they like
a big, sort of pack? Or are they individual? Like all those things just from the vibe of the music, like I feel like can shape each song to be very different and stuff that I just would never write, because I always be thinking about me.
Yeah, that's definitely, I think that's worked really well. Like once we had this idea of this world, this Cave World,
there's just so many ways to jump into that and add to it. Yeah.
We started this Google Doc of the characters and the lyrics and the backstories.
Yeah.
And you wrote all this like amazing stuff about
the bureaucracy and the different creatures, the conflict between the different creatures.
There's like so many narratives in there that probably will never even make it directly into a song.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's what's exciting to me about it is it's like a framing on everything we can do, and it doesn't feel like a constraint, but it just feels like there's more direction. There's like a story,
or there's infinite stories that we can tap into. Yeah.
So how's it changed, like for you, from when we started to what it is now?
Like, what did you expect to start? I guess.
I didn't really know, actually. I don't remember what we talked about. This is another reason why it's good to document, because I don't remember.
Yeah.
We tried to record stuff together in 2015, and I think we were both busy and starting families and stuff, and and also had less of the space wasn't as isolated, and it was hard to play late at night and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think, and I remember those being fun, but
I think there's always a question of like, how much of this do we make a live thing or just a recorded thing?
Yeah, I feel like when we did it in 2015, like neither one of us had much of a sense for what we wanted to make, and like you said, we're like, it's hard to be focused.
Yeah.
So we just kind of like jammed, and we're like, all right, well, that was a fun jam. We didn't really have any direction. I remember feeling like, do we want to make it fast,
Slow, like,
ambient,
and we like really had no answers. So
it was cool this time. We like started out the same way. We just basically like jammed that stuff out.
Okay.
But like with the idea of like sort of each taking it home and making something from those initial samples and like just sort of iterating to see what happened. So I definitely like in my head of like what I wanted to make. I had an idea of what I wanted to make. I didn't know if you'd be that into it, so I figured rather than explaining it.
What was that?
well, I mean, like think about what I listened to.
What do you like to do?
Just all these bands that are making like good songs, lyrics, verse, chorus, whatever, but like crazy music, like and really like so much focus on like the texture of the music without losing the strength of the song. Like
This is sounding familiar.
And I'm sure you sold me on the texture.
Became weird.
I was really excited about a project. Like, I'm writing pop songs, but I want them to be weirder. It's like a good way to get me.
Well, I don't think I told you pop songs at first.
Oh, okay.
I was just like, I think we should have words and lyrics because the people like that, and you were like, yeah, sure. And I think what you imagined was like a word stretched out over like 3 minutes.
One word. Let's pick a word per song. Yes.
Yeah.
I would like that.
I feel like drifting is a good one to talk about because like process-wise, I feel like the way that evolved is the way I would love for all of our stuff to work. So I had, from that first jam, I had done a version of the original version, I guess the only version of New Day. New Day out of vanilla, out of vanilla, out of vanilla. It rushes by, the wind blows, no one asking where we're going, we don't know. I think it was like pretty poppy out of the blue for you. So you like totally reworked it into this like mellow instrumental,
Like super awesome, but like you're saying, like not an A/B structured song, just sort of
like flowing over the course of it, like stretching out the vocals. I got that from you. I was like, "Wow, this is awesome!" But like,
not
this is
song.
Well, it's like this is a whole other song. Like this gives me an idea for a whole different direction, So then I wrote the lyrics to this on top of your instrumental. I don't mind. Yeah, and then got you to give me all the stems.
Yeah.
And like
fucked with it a little on that.
Guitar and bass and a different drum part a little bit, and just like rework that.
I remember you also making it feel more structured, which was a good thing. Like I heard that instantly.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's nice because there's something my brain can latch onto here.
Right,
and it's
I understand when and if this may resolve.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I see the value of that.
Yeah. But I think like without losing that groove and like most of the parts in there are from that original mix.
Totally.
That's cooler to me in a way than like I make a song all the way, or you make a song all the way.
I make a song all the way, or you make a song all the way.
Yeah, I think it was exciting, and also it was when I got the song and the stems, I wasn't sure how much
Wanted to change also, or like would be overstepping by changing. So I think like the way I was like, I'm not gonna get mad at me. I'm gonna just like change stuff
And like see what do I want to listen to right now, and that's kind of where I went with it. But like,
I think later on I started really, instead of doing it more selfishly, whereas like what do I want to change this into for me, like thinking about it as like what can I add to this that because I can always hear
usually there's very like, I mean always, I guess there's always a very consistent creative thought or energy or tone to the songs. And so, although they're very different, so it's easy to hear what you're doing with that and then be like, how can I add to that?
Right.
Versus like, how do I want to change this?
Yeah.
I think it's a better place to be.
That's true.
adding than just changing.
Although I will say a couple of them that you've changed pretty drastically have been like really improved. I mean, Ready for Anything.
The original version that was cool.
Yeah.
Everything is gonna change. Hoping it'll be okay. Want it all to stay the same. Not supposed to be afraid. Not ready for anything.
It's cool, but like you reworked that one like really significantly, and it like, you know, made it a much cooler song.
everything is gonna change. Hoping it'll be okay. Want it all to stay the same. Not supposed to be afraid. Not ready for anything. Not ready for
And also Biolum too, right? The original version of that was totally different. Yeah, totally reworked it, added a new beat, like changed all the synths and stuff, and like that was way cooler.
Right. Okay. I do remember.
Forgot about that part. Yeah. You hadn't played it for me, so we were like rehearsing and working on the live set, and you were like, oh, I changed that one a little, so I'm gonna put on my version. And I was like, all right, cool. I just played a completely different song, and I was like,
holy shit, this is ours?
We have the vision. We have the means.
Yeah, I think at some point when we were rehearsing live set at the same time as we were writing stuff, I said something like, I'm gonna try to surprise you with the arrangements, and you're like, let's just practice the set. Like, I'm like, oh right, we need to like get to a point where we have to play the song.
right, it was just the basics down.
Before I'm like trying to fuck with the person who has to sing the songs, and I'm just pushing buttons. Like, cool.